Hello, hopefully everybody is having a great day today. Today we're going to cover Module 5, working with multiple worksheets and workbooks. Their objectives are located here in our Canvas account. Make sure you're reading over the objectives and understanding each of the objectives as you accomplish them in the chapter. Next, you're going to click on the SAM textbook project to load MindTap. Click on Start. Here is the textbook, which I'm going to use the hard copy. If you don't have a hard copy, then you can click on here and you can sit it side by side with your assignment to accomplish the assignment and complete it to upload. Then click on your start file to download it. It's going to be a new blank document this time, but we still need to download it from there, so we get used to that. Click on Enable Editing. And we're going to start on page 5-4, which is the first steps of creating our workbook today. The very first thing it tells us to do is to use SAM to start Excel and create a blank workbook. So we have done that. The next step says to click the Zoom button. So we're going to click on our View button and click on Zoom. And it wants us to go to 120% so it's easier to see all of our cells that we're going to be using. And then we're going to go to the page layout and we're going to go to our themes. Now, to get to the theme that we're going to use today, you need to have watched the previous YouTube video on how to apply a feathered theme. You can search that on YouTube, or you can just click on the Canvas link that I have labeled here so you can create the feathered theme. So please do that now if you haven't done it, and then come back to this assignment. If you've already done that, then continue on. So we're going to click on Themes. Our feathered theme is loaded here, because we did that from our YouTube video instructions. And then once we've clicked on feathered, then it's changed everything for us and we're able to continue on. So we've applied the feathered theme on step 4, and now we're on page 5-5. 5-5 is formatting our worksheet. So we're going to start applying some formatting in the columns and rows. Very first step says drag the bottom boundary of row 4 down to height of 51.75. Then on step 2, it says drag the right boundary of column A to 20.57. Then step 3 says click the heading for column B, and then shift click the heading for column G to select the whole range. I'm going to click on B, I'm going to hold the shift button down, and then I'm going to click on column G, and it selects that range. Then number 4 says drag the right boundary of column G to 13.57, and that should change all of them to 13.57 since they're all selected. Again, if you have trouble getting it to the exact width, you can always go to your Home tab and then Format Cells and go to Column Width and type it in here if you're using a touchpad. Okay, then click cell A1 to deselect our selection. Now we're on the bottom of page 5. Enter the title, subtitle, and row titles. So we're going to type those in: A1, M&S Provisions, A2, Consolidated Expense Worksheet, A4 is going to be Expense Category, A5 is Payroll, Benefits, Fuel, Storage, Event Fees, Maintenance, and Advertising. So we're going to type each of those in. Oops, I'm putting commas. Okay, on page 6, we're going to enter column titles. So we're going to select cell B4 and we're going to type in 2020. And then we're going to click on cell C4, and we're going to start typing in the following information by pressing Control or Alt Enter as we do each line. So if you look at the bottom on page 5-5, I'm sorry, 5-6, figure 5-5, it shows you exactly what we're doing. So we're going to type in 2021, Alt Enter. I hit Control Enter on an accident. 2021, Alt Enter, and then projected, and then Alt Enter again, and then percent change. Percent change. And we're going to hit on D, and we're going to type in 2021. And then E, we're going to do the same thing we did in C, and we're going to type in 2022. Alt Enter, projected, and then Alt Enter, change, percent change. And then F, we're going to type in 2022, and then G is average, Alt Enter, percent changed. And this is past tense, CHANGED. Okay, so that takes care of step 2 in entering column titles. Then in B5, on step 1 on page 7, it says select cell B5, type in 1, and then click the enter button. Then you want to hit the control and drag. So we're going to click on here, and we're going to hit the control button, and then we're going to hit the fill and drag down. Now by holding the control button down, it's going to add 1 to the series. So we've done that. So now we have some numbers 1 through 8. And then on number 2, it says select cell C5. And it wants us to type in 3%. 3%. And then it wants us to display the home. It wants us to home tab. And it wants us to go to fill series. Oh, I'm doing it backwards. And then select the range C5 to C12 and then fill series. So I'm going to click cancel, C5 to C12. Now I'm going to do fill and then series. Okay, and the step value on page 8 says fill series, so we've done that, and then it wants us to do the step value on step 3 of 031. So we're going to put the step value of 0.031, and then we're going to click on OK. And then we're going to fill the series again on the next step, C and E. I'm looking for series E on the range, and I don't see it in the book. Oh, here it is. On step number 4, I'm sorry, page 5-8, step number 4, it says click OK to fill the series, and then click the increase decimal button to do 2 decimal spaces. So we're going to click on 2 decimal spaces. And then the very next thing we're going to do is we're going to repeat steps 2, 3, and 4 to create a linear series beginning with 4% and incrementing by 0.02 in the series range E5 to E12. So E5 to E12 we're going to select, and we're going to go to fill, and we're going to do series, and then it says beginning with 4%, which I forgot to do. Click cancel, type in 4%. Now I'm going to click on the series, or the cells, and click fill series. And we're doing the columns, we're doing a linear, and we're wanting to do by increment by 0.02. So 0.02 in the step value. Click OK. And then we're going to have to increment our decimals by 2 as well. Okay, so those steps 2, 3, and 4, we did it. Then we're going to click on an empty cell to remove the selection. Yours should match figure dash 5-9, and ours does. So now we're going to look at date, time, and rounding functions. Okay, there's some reading to read on how to figure out all the different functions, the different things that you can put in. And then we've looked at today functions before. Actually, we've looked at now functions. So what we're going to do is put a today function in cell G3. So in cell G3, we're going to type in equals today. So equal today, which is a function, and then open and close parentheses, and hit enter. And then we're going to right click cell G3, and we're going to go to format cells, and we're going to go in and change this a little bit. So we're going to make it a date, and it wants 14 March 2012 as our choice. So 14 March 2012. And then we're going to click on OK. So it's going to put today, the date 14 March 2012, which is in the real world right now, we're the 30th of March 2021. Then click the empty cell to deselect it. And that was page 11. And we're going to page 12. Page 12 is continuing on with some new functions. This one's going to be a round function. So in cell D5, we're going to enter a round function. So the round function is going to be equals round, open parentheses, the number is B5 plus B5, B5 plus B5 times C5 times C5. And then now we're going to put the number of digits that we want to round it to. So we'll put a comma. The number of digits will be 2 and close parentheses. Okay. And then number 2 is drag the fill handle in D5 down to copy it to D6 to D12. 6 to D12. Now we're going to do the same thing for F5. I'm going to put another formula in for a round function. That's on step 2 on page 12. Equals round, parentheses, D5 plus D5 again, D5 plus D5 times E5, and then our comma, and then number of digits is 2, and then close parentheses. 1.07. And we're going to fill handle down. And now we're going to go to G5, and we're going to look the average percent changed. So we're going to do a rounding function and then do the average part by the old school way, just doing the math. So equal round, parentheses, open parentheses again, because we're going to put an average function in for that. C5 plus E5 close parentheses, and then divide it by 2, because there's 2 years that we're dividing it by, and then comma, and then our number of digits is going to be 4 digits this time, and then close parentheses, and that closes our round function. So it should be 0.35. Okay, and then we're going to select cells F5 to G5. Oh, we've already done that. So we're going to do G5 and fill handle down. There we go. And so we have our fill handle, and we have all of them filled in, the formulas. Next, we're going to click on cell B13. This is step number 5, B13. And we're going to click the auto sum button and hit enter. Whoops, I did the auto sum wrong. It's not B4 to B12, it's B5 to B12. So I'm going to click undo and do it right, so you all will see how it's done. It's actually pulling in 2020, and we don't want to pull in 2020. So we're going to click and drag our marquee box from B5 to B12. And it says that in step 5. I just overlooked it. Hit enter, so our answer should be 36. We have a trace error message, and we can just click on it and ignore it because it's saying, hey, you forgot 2020. So we're all right. Now we're on page 14. Page 14 states, select cell D13 and click the auto sum for D5 to D12. So auto sum, again, D5 to D12, not D4. And then in cell F13, it wants us to do the same thing for the auto sum here. F5 to F12. Okay, and now we're on step 7, which will be our last step of this video. It's to save the workbook on your hard drive or on your OneDrive, and we're going to call it the SCEX5 Consolidated Expenses. So we're going to go File, Save As. I'm just going to put mine in my computer here, my PC, in my Downloads folder. You might want to put it in your Documents folder. It's up to you. I guess we can put it in the Documents folder since I just showed you. And then we're going to name it. I'm going to click on the Home tab so I don't erase my name. And I'm going to call it SC_EX_5. Remember, this has to be identical to the way it's saying, or it will not count it correctly when you submit it for grading. Underscore Consolidated Expenses, and then underscore your name, and then get rid of any numbers at the end of your name for right now. Okay, and then click on Save. Thank you for watching. Again, this is pages 1 through 14 on Module 5.